start to fill out your origin story and your promise of value and descriptions about your history and whatnot and ways to reach you, contact information, etc. So I mean, when I first filled out my LinkedIn, I just cut and paste my resume and it worked great. Again, I put a lot more than some people, but I seem to get quite a lot of hits on LinkedIn. So here, I guess I had an extra questionnaire that I forgot about. So we'll quickly go through this. Apologies for going over a little late, but just going to quickly get this done. So originally I did this for my coaching company, Enterprise Warrior. So that's why it says that. So what was the most successful project you have ever tackled and what made you successful? So these are things that when you answer well can appear on your website as case studies and whatnot. What was the most important team role you ever fulfilled and why? When faced with an overwhelming obstacle, what's your go-to skill to overcome it? What are strengths that others acknowledge in you? What are strengths and skills that come up over and over again? What skills have you mastered but would rather not use every day? What skills do you enjoy using as often as possible regardless of the task? What strengths and skills are going to be the most helpful as you begin your career or client search? What skills are missing? What skills would you like to build but have not yet had the chance to practice? And what are your top 5 strengths? So you want to try and validate your self-perception with feedback from others. So that just goes back to maybe repurposing these questionnaires so that you can send them to your close network and get some real talk feedback from those people. So that was the SOAR, which is opportunities and risks, etc. I guess I have more of these questionnaires than I remember. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, so this one here is exploring your weaknesses. Okay, so we'll just quickly go through this too. Again, it says Enterprise Warrior because that's my coaching company, but I've been repurposing these for digital desks right now. So what are your weaknesses that you're aware of? When working on a team, what roles do you avoid that may be important to your goals? So it's good to understand what your Achilles heels is, and this is this exercise, right? You don't have to share this with people. What was your least successful project you've ever tackled? What are your top 3 weaknesses? And it's good to validate. I mean, truth hurts, right? But what a great way to improve yourself is to get some honest feedback from people that care about you. Did anyone identify a weakness that you were not aware of? Did you discover that others saw strengths in you that you thought were weaknesses? List them here. And look at the weaknesses that you and others identified and which weaknesses are not essential to your career goals. So if you're crap at squash and you're trying to sell consulting, it doesn't really matter, right? So hopefully you're in a position where your weaknesses aren't related to your personal brand and your target market. Which weaknesses might hold you back from getting where you need to go? So these are the ones where you want to focus your energy, obviously, right? So this is a good way to kind of focus in on your weaknesses and kind of build yourself a little plan of improvement, right? All right, so I'm going to really try and speed up here because I can't believe we're going over again. Mitigate, manage, and master. So you want to mitigate, identify weaknesses that can be mitigated with strengths and resources. You want to manage weaknesses that need remediation. And you want to identify skill building opportunities and create an action plan to fix them. So what skills do you need to focus on? What's your current baseline? Who is a good person to go get mentorship from? And resources and opportunity. So while I'm talking about learning, I just want to plug a company my friend used to work at, which I just love, and it's called Udemy. So here you go. Let's just type in personal branding. can go and learn all you want about personal branding, for example, from these guys as well, right? So I always go buy my courses when they're on sale. It looks like they have a sale on now. Usually I go on Boxing Day, and you get these courses forever. So on Boxing Day I go stock up for the whole year. Anyway, I just thought I'd quickly share that as a little value add. Um, so what do we have here? So identify your top values. So again, you can take a screenshot of this. These are just words that are going to help you write your brand story. Whoops. So if you don't, well, I was going to say if you don't use your first name, last name as your domain, but it doesn't really matter. You can either do that or not. But this is a great tool called Noam. And what it does is you type in your proposed username and it tells you of all the networks if it's still available. So if you're coming up with a brand name or you have a common first name, last name combination, this is a great tool to see how well you're going to do grabbing those kind of real estate grabs on all of the main networks. So that was just kind of thrown in there. So just a reminder, if there's one thing you do tonight, go on the GoDaddy, get your domain name. I recommend first name, last name because it'll never get old. And you can also press the button to fire up the WordPress site. Quite honestly, GoDaddy hosting has got a lot better over the years. It's pretty simple. I think the thing I like about it the most is there's always someone on the phone 24 hours. So if you get stuck, they're surprisingly patient, helping you fix things, right? Again, I can't believe that we still have so many slides, but I'll go real quick here. But ROAS is return on ad spend. So if you are going to start doing some ads to promote your personal brand, you'd want to measure kind of your return on that. So I won't get into that. Maybe we're going to have lots of courses over the next Thursday. So Thursday, 7 p.m. PST, every Thursday, let's go. And we'll get into return on ad spend later. So we'll just skip over that actually. So another way of thinking about your brand, once you've done all the work that we've discussed about, is making an elevator pitch. So again, memorizing it and having it with a structure, with who you work with, what you deliver, how you do it, what you do, and who you are. I guess it's the other way up. So who are you? I'm Julian. I'm a software developer. I work for a company, Red Maple Media. We deliver software solutions to public and private clients, and we work with the provincial government and other large private clients. So you can just kind of write your own, right? Body language. So personal branding, we talked about it being on paper and online, but also in person, right? So when you turn up to those networking events, if you turn up drunk or tired or angry, it's not going to really jive with your personal brand that you spent so long. So if you're going to turn up, make sure your body language is good. It's something that, introverts need to, like myself, need to practice, right? Kind of need to fire myself up before I go into a networking room, right? But that's just me. Some people are extroverts and find it easy. So if you're going to get into public speaking, there's a whole bunch of things you want to practice. So I just included some tips for when you're taking the stage. You can look at this at your own time. You gotta be passionate or don't bother, right? So if you're make sure that when you decide on your unique promise of value, that it again is authentic and real and genuine, and you can be yourself, because only that way will you play the long game. And it aligns with who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And if you have all of that in alignment, you should be passionate, and it shouldn't take too much energy to the story. Does a mentor need to know you exist? So I get a lot of information from mentors that I follow, but they don't necessarily know I exist, right? So I follow people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone and a bunch of other people. And I'm just constantly learning from them and applying the lessons. And you don't have to like the whole person. This Tay Lopez guy, Parts of his message I like, parts I don't. But yeah, having a mentor that can provide you with training and leadership skills is a really quick way to get ahead. I personally, to be honest, haven't been great at having mentors. I think it comes from maybe my English upbringing where I don't really like asking people for stuff. I'm more comfortable just figuring it out myself. I'll be honest, it's held me back a little bit in some areas. So now I'm thinking, I've always had these invisible mentors, as I call them, just learning from people on YouTube and whatnot. I think that's an area that perhaps I need to work on is getting some strong mentors that are in alignment with the direction I'm going, right? So I kind of need to get over that and start asking people maybe. Um, so not really sure why I included that slide, but just the recognition of the different networks that you might want to consider. Um, I'm a big fan of Richard Branson. He's one of my invisible mentors. So if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. So I definitely am a fan of that idea, which is if you believe in yourself and you believe you can learn anything and you have drive, sometimes when you're given a project, it seems scary. You feel like you have 80% of what you need, and that 20% is what you focus on, and you're like, can I really do it or not? But I think we're all more capable of doing things, bigger things than we realize, right? So again, just a recognition that you're not going to improve your personal branding unless you do the work, right? So my recommendation is just to go rewatch this presentation, pause on certain slides, such as the keywords and whatnot, fill out the questionnaires, take the time to write your brand story, your unique promise of value, print it out, go get your friends and family and your coworkers to mark it up and cross out things they think aren't in alignment with who you truly are, etc. Right? So basically, you got to do the work, right? You got to take action. And I just threw in a couple of little slides here, which is if you can use some automation, that's a good idea. So, right now I'm using Restream to broadcast from OBS, Open Broadcast Studio. And I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and hopefully next week Instagram when it works. So that's a system I have now set up that works very effectively. So the same is with that tool Buffer. So maybe I'll just throw up the Buffer website real quick. Last time I checked, they had a freemium tier, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that went away. So $15 a month though, pretty good. 8 social accounts, 100 scheduled posts. So you can create your brand messaging. You can sign up for Buffer and you can just start dripping out that brand message and those 80% value posts with little 20% kind of pitches in them. So that's something again that I would recommend. So I just want to say thank you so much for turning up. I'm sorry I went over again. I got to get better at timing here. We're 16 minutes over. And again, if you want any slides, info@digitaldesks.ca. And I'll also let you know that we do sell virtual office and business mailing packages. So if you're looking for a downtown Victoria, BC address and you want to have mail forwarded to you and you want to have Google Pin set up for you, Digital Desk Coworking is providing that service. We've been providing it for a long time. But while we're all stuck at home in residential addresses, growing our businesses, you might find that you're actually missing out on a lot of searches that are taking place downtown on mobile phones and desktops. And if you want your business to be coming up in those searches, then proximity to downtown is key. And so we are really amplifying the message that Digital Desks Coworking, which is on Humboldt Street, just down the street from the Empress, has a really solid address, and we already provide for numerous clients virtual office and business mailing packages. And so you can check out our website, digitaldesks.ca, and I'll let you in on a little secret that we are launching a new website in the next 7 days. pressure's on now. I said it, 7 days. And so there'll be way more information on that. We have a new program coming out with a voice over IP phone that we can also have delivered to your house. You can set that up. And it also has G Suite, Google Suite integration. So you got lots of exciting things around the virtual office, the business mailing address. We also do scanning services as well. And we also forward mail, snail mail, either to Canada or internationally. And our virtual package is $79 a month. And like I said, we already have a number of clients, but we'd certainly like more, particularly because our physical space is going to be empty for a month or two. So anyway, that's my little pitch. Again, next week, we're going to have another presentation. And I think next week what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through my origin story, but in a way that you can really get a lot of value. So how to bootstrap a company from scratch, how to get your first clients, some of the tools I used to create my first website, some of the first tools I used for sort of guerrilla marketing. When I started my company, I had no clients and I had basically no budget, and I was able to do it from a laptop. And so I'd love to tell you that story in the hope that it inspires you to either start your own company or to recognize that you don't need investors, that you can bootstrap your own company. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks again for coming, and I'll see you next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. PST. Learning brought to you by Digital Desk Coworking, located in downtown Victoria, BC. And it's awesome to see you guys online. I'll talk to you soon.